Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Welcome back, Mavs fans. I'm Kirk Henderson. This is Pod Maverick presents Mavs Party. Where's the correct overlay? There we go. Mavs Party. The Dallas Mavericks won tonight against the Atlanta Hawks, 129 and 119. A game that they, in my opinion, really needed following a maddening loss to the Miami Heat the night before. In overtime, Kyrie Irving played a really fantastic fourth quarter after 3 sort of tired-looking quarters, and he had every excuse in the book as to why, because he's been helping carry this team with Luka out and has really been perhaps the most consistent Mavericks player of the year. PJ Washington chipped in 11 points and 10 boards, multiple stocks, just a real fun game there. And the Mavericks have, they walk away with a win that puts them 2 games over 500. A loss would have put them at 500, which would have driven me crazy considering it's the 18th game of the season. For those of you who may or may not know how this works, there is a link in the stream. I'm going to post it again here. It's a StreamYard link that allows you to join the show. We got one participant already waiting. Is Victor. We're going to bring Victor up here in a second. But for those of you who would like to join the show, it's a real easy thing to do. You just click that stream. It takes you to a waiting room. I bring you up on the stage, and we can talk a little basketball. You can ask questions. It's a good time. Basketball should be enjoyed with friends, and that's sort of the whole point of this show, win or lose. So coming up first is Victor. Victor, what's going on, man? Hit that unmute button for us. Let's see if I can unmute Victor. No, won't let me unmute Victor. So Victor will have to figure this out here in a second. That's okay. I can filibuster for a few seconds while Victor figures it out. Oh, man. I am pretty pumped about this one, which seems stupid because it's the Hawks. But, coming up against a team that wasn't really ready to play the Mavericks, they look to be, the Mavericks were down multiple additional rotation players with Najee Marshall and who else was missing? Quentin Grimes missed the game due to illness. Kyrie was on the injury report due to illness. And then so you got Luka out as well. You got Klay Thompson with a plantar fasciitis issue. And that just sort of stinks. And the Mavericks had basically I wouldn't call it a schedule loss, but playing on the second night of a back-to-back, they had plenty of built-in excuses. And so for them to just sort of crap the bed like this is pretty frustrating. But that's the way it goes sometimes. And they came in on the second night of a back-to-back following that Heat loss, and they could have rolled over and died, and they just didn't, which is nice to see. Looks like Victor is not going to be rejoining us, which is what it is. My man Brian hung out with me on the playback, so he probably doesn't have any more Mavs takes for tonight because he and I were just sort of talking about them during the game. We don't have any interest in this secondary live show. That is perfectly fine. I will go ahead. Oh, hey, Mr. Green is joining us from Australia. Mr. Green, what's up, my man?
Well, I'll try to take my thumb off the camera. That'll be a good start.
That's good. How you doing? How you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Better than yesterday. That was to say that was a bit disappointing to let it all go yesterday was a bit of an understatement.
I was very frustrated by that game, and the more I talked about it, the worse I got.
Man, the worst thing was the slow motion replay of Dimwitty's fucking Hail Mary at the end. I was almost going to be productive yesterday until I seen that ball jump out of that hoop, and then I was like, nah, I'm mowing the lawns. That's all I'm doing. I'm mowing the lawns.
I like it. I think that's an important way to handle frustration with a team loss like that one. I didn't know, like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, kids' comments post game floored me.
I couldn't watch them. Look, I'm an extremely bad loser. You'll almost never see me on one of these shows after a loss unless I'm just ready to tear the team to strips. But I couldn't watch any of that shit yesterday, mate. I didn't want to listen to Kid because Kid just plays all of us in his post-game press conferences after losses. And if you read too much in it, you'll go fucking insane. And it's not worth my energy. I can't do it.
This is a fantastic comment from one of your, I'm pretty sure Jared's also in Australia, and he says, good to see Dyson Daniels recruiting Kyrie at the end of this one. Tell me something. Why didn't Dyson Daniels play as much on the Olympic team?
Oh, he got a fair bit of run.
Okay.
He was playing. It was Thibault that got the arse, remember? Thibault got dropped before the Olympics. Dyson played a lot of minutes, man.
And I'm misremembering. That's my bad.
Yeah, he's an excellent player, but he had a shit game tonight. He was not impactful tonight. I do watch, being an Aussie, I do try and watch our boys regardless of who they play for. And Dyson was, man, through the first 2 weeks of the season, he was one of the best players going around the league in the first 2 weeks of the season. So impactful. Defensively,
just a monster.
But, man, offensively, he was just lighting it up, which really unusual. Like, I'm sure a lot of Pelicans fans were ready to go and knife the front office after watching the first 10 games of this season. He was really playing well. But he's that sort of player, man. He's the right height, he's the right length, he's the right build to be that menacing wing defender. And if he can knock down a few shots, then we all know what it's like in this make or miss league. You know what I mean?
Very much so. And that's just sort of the way it goes sometimes. But I'm glad to see Dallas get a bounce back win, because one of the things I talked about on my Twitter feed last night, was I know Jason Kidd's not going anywhere, right? And so when he does stuff that trolls us, I have a hard time talking about it in a meaningful way, because I know he has a method, but I still value regular season wins. I want them to have home court. I think home court matters. And, he might look at me, given his playing experience and coaching experience, and go, you know what? I don't think it does. And he would probably have the better argument. But at the same time, I want to see these guys win these games and not have to do so much work in March and April.
Look, every fan would be the same, Kirk. I don't think you're Robinson Crusoe there, mate. Every fan wants to see their team win a lot of games. I think that what Kidd does is Kidd basically makes promises to all these guys on the roster and says, I will give you the opportunity to be impactful. And he just gives them enough rope. I mean, it's like you with your kids, mate. You tell them not to do something, and then you see them doing something stupid, and they're going to get hurt, and you go, you know what? It's just going to be quicker and easier to let him fall off the top of that slide than tell him for the 500th time, don't go on the fucking slide.
It's just the most accurate description of my weekend I've ever heard. Just over that is my life. I kid you not, man. I had a talk with my I had a talk with my 8-year-old today, and I was like, buddy, mom is telling you what you'll do that will make her mad, and you're ignoring her. What do you think the outcome is going to be? She's going to be mad at you. And it's the same thing with the coaching stuff, where kid is better at this than I will ever be. But at the same time, I just want them to see them do well in the regular season. It would ease my conscience, because I hate the way this team gets talked about, because on a national level and in a narrative sense, there's this idea that this team is not quite as good as they have played. And really, I think what they are is they play below what they're capable of, and then they figure it out, and then they play well above what you expect of them.
Yeah, I mean, to beat expectations have to be low. Poor play in the first half of the season through the first 40 games lowers expectations. So when you actually live up to your roster's capabilities, then you exceed expectations. One thing that I've noticed in the national media about Dallas is even when they're playing well above their expectations, they don't get much love for it. And it comes down to the fact, in my opinion, you've got, and look, I don't think this, but I'll just say the general narrative. You've got the fat, lazy white guy, non-American on your team, and we don't really want that guy to succeed. And the unfortunate reality is this league has been dominated by foreigners now for 8 years.
Yep.
And it's not even close. Like, it always makes me laugh with the Stephen A's and the talking heads of the world. You know, who's the next American MVP? I said, mate, we could be waiting fucking a decade or two before we find one.
I think that's right. I do.
They're talking about Cooper Flag might be it. Man, that's a pretty sad predicament to be talking about it. But why should it matter? I mean, the NBA was, I'm old enough, getting close to 50, to have seen the full spectrum of NBA's penetration into the Australian market. And me and my father were huge hoop heads back in the day when I was 14, 15, 16 at school, buying the latest Jordan 3s, showing my age there, Kirk. You've probably never seen a real pair of Jordan 3s in your life.
No, only the remakes. That's incredible.
You're too young. I remember when I was 16, me and my best mate, who was, my running mate on our basketball team, the Parkwood Pistons, we went on holidays to Singapore with mum and dad. And, man, we came home with a brand new suitcase full of shoes and full of hoops cards. And I don't know anyone who'd have a larger basketball card collection from their youth than me, because I don't throw shit out, mate. I'm on 20,000 square meters, and I've never thrown anything out that I've ever owned. I'm Scottish. So I still have everything, but man, I was actually thinking for a laugh of pulling out some of my Derek Harper fucking basketball cards, and who was the big tall guy that had no neck and the real long arms that played for Dallas, and he played for a lot of teams. Sam, short neck, real long arms, excellent shooter. I think
Bowie?
he won.
No.
No.
Cassell?
No. I think curly hair, 6'10", 6'11", real long arms, good shooter. I think he played number 41 for the Mavs.
This is going to kill me.
Someone in the chat surely got our back, Kurt.
I know. No, normally we got Cowboy in here, and he's Sam Perkins.
That's it, Sam Perkins.
There we go. Shout out to Jared, your fellow Aussie, for knowing this.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, well, the Aussies, mate, they're a smart bunch. I can't take too much credit, mate, because like I said, I didn't move to Australia till 1981. So, but look, the Mavs, they don't get talked about a lot in the national media, and they shouldn't, mate. They're a fucking 500 team again, and they got a lot to prove. I don't think Kid cares too much about home court, for the fact that we're not winning the games. Like, if we're winning the games, he's going to care. But, I mean, how many losses did we have by one shot? Was it 4 in a row? Was it the most ever or something? I remember Followell saying that, there's only 4 teams that have ever lost 4 games in a row by one basket or less. what do you do? Can't do
It's certainly us, man. We're capable of this kind of frustration.
Has been since I've been following you, mate, and that's I went back and rewatched every game of Luca's rookie career, but I really started honing in his second season because I've told you this before, mate. After watching that guy play, I thought this might be it. I watched the whole Jordan era, and my dad's been to the US quite a few times to watch basketball, and he got to watch Jordan. His favorite guys were Sean Kemp and the Glove, so he's been to Seattle a few times and watched games there, and we both agree, he's a frustrated Celtics fan, and he made me watch the first 4 minutes of yesterday's Celtics game. I don't know. Did you see Brown go off in the first 4 minutes of yesterday's Celtics game? Holy shit, man.
Pretty awesome.
Have you got League Pass?
I do.
He had 2 steals, a block, and 5 threes in the first 4 minutes of the game yesterday.
Pretty good start.
2 steals, a block, and 5 threes, and then he airballed 2 threes in a row. That's when I stopped watching and watched today's game. But it always. He sent me a video yesterday about the GOAT debate about LeBron, and I know we're off topic, Kirk, but we've got nothing else to talk about. So
who cares?
He sent me a video about this young fella. I don't know what they call young fellas these days, millennials. Who's a huge LeBron fan and said LeBron's the GOAT, this, that, and the other. The video just goes in to talk about the actual analytical dominance of Jordan and how superior of a player he is and was. And I'm just so blessed to have been that kid, man. I remember watching Lakers and Celtics final games on ABC, and we were getting them over here at 11 o'clock at night when I was supposed to go to bed at 10, as a young fella. And got to watch it all, man. Bird versus Magic Johnson, got to watch all them games. Jordan getting absolutely pummeled by the Pistons and watching him break through. Anyone who grew up in that area did not expect Jordan to be able to dominate over somewhere like that, man. Against those Pistons, because it didn't look like he was going to be able to lead a team like that. So when I seen Luka first play, I said to myself, fucking hell, man, I think this might be it. I think this is time to hone back into the league and invest heavily into my time to watch these games. And it sucks when he doesn't play, bro. We have to know, the chat is dying to know, what creature in the background is not dying but sounds really pissed off? Okay, so that's an Australian raven.
Okay.
That's a raven. Can I hear it? I live on 5 acres, Kirk. So on my little farmlet out here, I mean, we're surrounded by birds. And,
whatever it is, it's like right in the audio range where it's like every time you're not talking, you hear it just so, and it's like and it's really funny.
I wonder if I could show you one. These are big. These are big
ravens are enormous.
Yeah, well, look, you guys have got some big birds, but like, if you ever want to have a bit of a laugh about, I seen a comment in the chat that you just put up, something like Australia's like Narnia, right? Now, I'm very appreciative of living here, being a foreigner. I mean, you wouldn't tell that I'm a foreigner because I went to school here and obviously picked up all the euphemisms, and I had to swear more and better than my mates, so that's why I sound like this. But man, our wildlife, and look, previous jobs, I've traveled almost every nook and cranny of Australia.
Yes.
Our wildlife here it's absolutely incredible. And
yes.
When I first moved onto this place here 10 years ago, when I bought this property, I didn't even notice the birds until a friend's dad said, "Oh, you're living there now, are you? How do you like the birds?" And I'm like, "What birds are you talking about?" And then when I started to notice them, they're here all the time, and they're loud, and they're plentiful. And I've got chickens and I've got a cow and a couple of Dobermans, and I've got enough shit here to keep me busy. But one day I'll have to take the chat for a walkthrough, mate, for a tour.
Three people in the comment have asked for that, and now there's 3 other Aussies, and then Rain is either in either New Zealand or Rain's gonna get mad at me because he's coming on next because he's been on the show like 35 times. I should remember the stuff by now. But hey, close out, and I'm gonna bring on Rain. What are you thinking?
Najee Marshall is that guy. He's the best role player that I've seen the Mavs acquire
ever in my take. Yes, yeah.
I've seen since I've been a fan, since Luka's second season, he's the best. Like what he can do. Mate, have you seen him dribble it off his fucking foot out of bounds yet? I haven't. It's a fucking miracle. Absolute fucking miracle. He doesn't do that. Some people were saying that he can lead a fast break and then make some terrible things. Mate, I've only seen him make 3 or 4 turnovers this season.
Yeah, he's pretty dope
compared to Derek Jones Jr. And I don't like to compare old players because, look, everyone loved Derek Jones Jr. last year. His dunks are just, man, they got me fucking pumped. I was off the couch, risking a fucking thigh injury. You know what I mean? But Najee's he's so much better as a team player. I mean, Derek Jones Jr., man, I'm sure he's having a good season because he's got some juice from last year. I'm not watching any of those Clippers games, man. Fuck those Clippers, man. Ooh.
Yes.
What a horrible time. Imagine there is no such thing as a Clippers fan, so you can't imagine being one. But Najee's the real deal. Grimes has looked good over the last few weeks. Cleaver looks like they just need to pretend he's ill and then just bring him out in June for some defensive stops because he'll fucking hurt himself 2 more times this season. That's inevitable. He doesn't want to shoot the fucking ball, which infuriates me. I loved Dinwiddie last time he was here, man. Dinwiddie, look, yeah, he had a stinker yesterday, but played well today. Man, I just love when you have someone like Kyrie on your team. I love 6'6" and bigger guards to pair with him in the backcourt. And Dinwiddie doesn't turn the ball over when he dribbles. He just turns it over when he fucking passes. So, yeah, that's it for me, Kirk. I'm enjoying the season, even though the record's shit. I think we'll do better. I can't believe the whole fucking team's sick. How's that going to go for – when's the next game? Did you say it was Thursday?
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday for you, Thursday for me. I don't like that.
No.
If the fucking team's sick and they're jumping on a plane together, that doesn't sound like a fucking good thing.
Mm-mm.
We could have a couple of disappointing losses no matter who we're actually playing. If the team's fucking crook, man, that's
the Knicks. Good. They play the Knicks, who are just the kind of team that to beat the pants off of them.
That's a weird. That's a weird team, man. That's a weird team. But let someone else talk, mate. And when it's boring and no one else is wanting to talk to you, I'll give you a tour of the homestead one day.
You're the best. Thanks for hanging out, man. Talk soon.
All right. See you. Take care.
God, anybody that this is why globalization is good. Just gonna put that in a nutshell. Weird chats with friends about basketball and everything else. Coming up next is Rain. Rain, how you doing? Been a long time. Thanks for joining again.
Hey, Kirk. Yeah, I'm in Aussie now, but I'm a Kiwi.
Okay,
so I'm from across the ditch.
Well, him explaining himself as a Scottish immigrant to Australia is just like chef's just. I don't know. I love hearing stuff like this because it's just like the world is complicated. We have a man who joins the show fairly regularly. He writes for Mavs Moneyball now, but he started off as a commentator. His name's Sudarshan, and he is in university in India. It's like there's just nothing more that I like about this show than hearing from people all across the planet that like this same stupid basketball team. It's just the best.
Well, funny enough, my grandmother is Scottish, and she immigrated to New Zealand back when you would travel, one on a boat and two under your parents' passports. And a couple of years ago, actually, the New Zealand government said, "Hey, when did you come into the country?" Because they didn't keep any of those paper records from back in the day.
Yep.
And so they have no record of her ever being there, despite her paying, taxes for 80 years, being in hospital because we've got a public healthcare system, and she's had cancer a couple of times and in and out of their healthcare system and had a license, et cetera, et cetera. And they were like, according to our documents, you don't exist. I'm going to be honest. You saw my comment in the, is it Playback TV?
Yes.
I kind of mostly stopped watching in the first quarter, paying attention. I was like, look, it's 11 o'clock here. I've got better shit to do than to watch this team fumble. To be fair, they're sick and injured, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, look, I've just got better shit to do today. So I was only watching possession here or there, mostly keeping a track of the score by looking at your playback, that little bar they have at the bottom. So I missed most of this game. And then when I looked somewhere, there's like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter when I finished what I was doing to actually sit down and watch it. I'm like, what the fuck? We're ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you missed the game. You missed the fourth quarter. The game was ass. The fourth quarter was fun.
I see Najee is hitting threes. I was like, shit, if Najee can hit threes, he's like the golden goose this team has absolutely needed. Probably not such a spicy take, but I'm not going to have a lot of takes from this game because I missed so much of it. But team-wise, I think I said on another playback that Clay might be our new Winter Soldier, but looking at the stats of how his shooting improves.
It's such a mean comment that makes me laugh every time.
But here's the thing, as it is right now, and maybe we just have to let him play it out, play it through. But if Najee's hitting threes, even if he doesn't get treated like a shooter, he doesn't get the space because he's actually a threat to drive. If he gets the pass, he's still going to take some defensive attention away from Luka and Kyrie if he's on the court. So I'm saying, theoretically, if we did replace Clay in the starting lineup with a Najee, one, obviously our defense is going to be a lot better. Two, he's still going to take some defensive attention. And if he's not respected as the shooter, sure, he's not going to go 6 for 10, probably. But he might, like this, go 2 of 3 and get some respect and be able to get a couple of driving lanes or do some driving kicks. He's a complete package. I love Najee. Najee is quickly, him and PJ, Najee, and Lively combined are obviously, I love Luka. That's the reason why I came to the team. I've come to love Kyrie. I, like you, was not keen on him coming to the team, and now I love him. So, but those three players are the heart of our team at the moment, really.
I think that's right.
But then again, with Clay, knowing that he's going to pick it up and how much he hated being on the bench in Golden State, is it worth the risk? I don't know. It's a new team.
So I saw something today, and I'm curious for your take on this. I saw something today from somebody, and it's somebody I follow on Twitter, but I don't know the validity of this information. But it was said with kind of the casual nonchalance of it wasn't a tweet, it was a reply, and it was, Clay is on a 30-minute per game restriction right now, though it's not broadcast anywhere. And I sort of that explains some stuff to where I still think there's plenty of opportunity for Clay to get more chances. Only if he knows he's on a minutes restriction, then hopefully that's not fucking with his psyche too much, the way things seem to be going in Golden State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hadn't seen this, and I wouldn't have thought it because a player of his age with his injury history, getting around with the other guys we've got on the team, and the fact that he hasn't been that hot, I didn't see anything weird about him only playing around 30 minutes a game. Honestly, I'd be fine with him playing a little bit less if someone else, if not hot. Actually, this is a take I have about Kid, and I might be wrong. Maybe it's a bit of recency bias, in my memory, Kid tends not to actually ride the hot hand into the fourth quarter. He goes, this is my plan. I think the team needs this extra ball handler. Using last game as an example, we need Dinwiddie in the game because we need another ball handler to support Kyrie out there, and he's going to stick with that despite Najee being the hot hand at the time.
Right.
And maybe I'm misremembering, but that feels like a trend that he rides with his pre-game plan more so than making the actual in-game adjustments. Like based on,
I 100% agree, because it gets to the point to where I almost think it's like I guess in boxing it's called like a rope-a-dope, where you like sucker other team, you sucker your opponent into thinking that this is your plan, to where it's like, okay, the rap on Kid is that he doesn't make adjustments, and then all of a sudden, in the postseason or the last 20 games of the year, he starts making like rapid adjustments to what teams are doing. I don't know. Like, Kid is crazy in the kind of way that champions are made from. So it's like, I feel very uncomfortable doubting him as much as he pisses me off.
I agree. And again, somebody mentioned on playback, Jason Timpf, speaking on that in the postseason, his take was that Kid doesn't make a lot of in-game adjustments, but game-to-game adjustments, he makes big moves. And he, especially like in that Sun series, game-to-game, he was making adjustments that actually made quite a big difference, whether it be who guards who, etc. But I'm kind of getting sick of him. Like, in his comment again, like that. I was on the DLLS watching that one, probably not live actually, and they were going fucking crazy over Kid's comments. And yeah, he was probably telling us some bullshit. You know, he doesn't always tell us the truth. I don't think he ever tells us the truth.
Yeah,
but that's an insane comment to make, especially with how cold he was. Like, everyone has a cold game. That's fine. Get him the fuck out the game. Put someone in who's going to make a shot. Even Clay, even though I just, had a little mini rant about Clay. Even Clay was playing way better, and he had I'm unlike Mr. Green. I am not happy with how this season has gone. I have taken a bit of a step back in terms of how much, mostly due to life stuff, how much I'm paying attention, completely ignoring all the media, because the second I saw that Luka came off to a slow start, I was like, fuck, here we go. Luka is not going to, it doesn't matter if he ends the season with better stats than he did last season. If they're not a top 3 seed, and Luka got off to a slow start, he's not going to shake this narrative for the whole year. He will not win MVP this year. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if he averages a 40-point triple-double, well, maybe a 40-point triple-double.
Right.
But anything short of that, no shot of him winning MVP this year. It's just the way it is. That's just the way the media talks.
I agree. I he'd have to go on like kind of an epic run for like 60 games, and that's just not happening.
I mean, think about it last year. Embiid has his 70-point whatever. And then, within a week, Luka had his 70-point game, and immediately the narrative is, we got to fix the scoring. This is the fucking problem with the game.
Right.
Like last, I kind of am in the vein of right now. Luka may have, with last year, lost his shot to win the MVP.
Yep.
Which is sad, because he's definitely an MVP worthy player. But I'm hopeful that he's going to come back. To me, it's just looked like he's had lower body issues that he couldn't shake from the end of last season. So hopefully with this wrist, I'm kind of hoping he takes a little bit more than a week and just comes back and gets right and is in better shape. I don't know. I see the pathway for this team to be good, but I also see they're just on this knife's edge where they could fall off the wagon almost as easily as they could be a top 3 seed. It's an I don't know. It's a crazy season, but I'm just not going to take what we're getting with these role players for granted.
I think that's fair. Well, man, thanks for hanging out and helping me throw up this show. I appreciate part of your day.
No worries. Thanks, Kirk. Sorry, I haven't been on these more. I might try and find more time, but
I'm real bad about doing these because, like, I don't know. I'm just so tired.
just for example, it's 2:30 for me right now. Like,
10:30 is fine. It's like the games that start at 7:30 Dallas time in the night and then finish at like 10:30, and then I do one and then I do another, and all of a sudden it's 1 a.m. That's what I it ruins me.
See, it's difficult for me because normally I'll be at work at this time, and where I'm at work, I work out of the mines in Australia. Spotty reception,
right?
Hair shit. So, and at this time, this is also when I always get people coming to the clinic, and I'm like, fuck, this is not going to happen. I'm trying to hide. I've got an earbud in my ear while I'm listening to this post game show. It is what it is, but I'll try and get in here more because, hey, it looks like we're on the up and up, and I'll try and forget about last game.
I think there's a chance of that. All right, Rain, talk soon.
Right. See you, Kirk. Thanks.
All right. Guys, this has been a lot of fun, more fun than it deserves, but that's why I do this show, for the people who actually really care. It's a fun community. You guys are great. It's been Kirk Henderson with Pod Maverick. If you guys haven't done so, like I said, in the previous shows, it would be very helpful if you would head to the body spec link in the chat. You can get for those of you in the Dallas area, you can get a DEXA scan for $15 off using the code PODMAVS45 at checkout. That's all caps, PODMAVS45 at checkout. I've really enjoyed my experience with them. I'm going to get another one probably at some point after Christmas, just to see if I've somehow made myself worse with all the holiday indulgences. But, if you like our show and support our show, that's one way you can do so. This has been Kirk Henderson at Pod Mavericks. Or Pod Maverick. Ugh. Everybody have a great day and go Mavs.